It's a glorious day. In fact, it's the 14th of May today, absolutely beautiful. It started out cloudy, overcast, and quite cool, but the sun's come out, the cloud has been burnt off by the sun, and conditions are just lovely. Conditions are just right for looking for larvae of the purple emperor butterfly. Now, the history of the purple emperor here in Sherwood Forest is quite interesting, and it's predominantly fairly recent, when a specimen was discovered by Nick and Samantha Brownlee only a few years ago. Nick and Samantha then went on to record the butterfly in all its stages through meticulous and careful study and monitoring. In the winter of 2021 to 2022, they were monitoring around 15 L3 larvae, L3 being the larval stage, and it stands for third instar. Most butterflies go through 5 instars, and that includes the purple emperor. Now, those larvae were also monitored by myself in the early part of 2022, and they were continued to be monitored right through until they were in L5 stage, and that's the final instar in the pre-pupation stage. Then all of a sudden, most disappeared for some inexplicable reason, even some that weren't quite ready for pupation, but one was only a day or so off from pupating. Now, the pupa were looked for, and they were looked for at night, and that's because purple emperor pupa luminesce under UV light. So shine a UV light under and upwards into a goat sallow, and any pupa there will show up like a sore thumb, so to speak. Only one pupa was ultimately detected, but a decent number of butterflies were seen, and as a consequence, what we always determined has been an incredible number of eggs, 40 in total, were found. Now, the heat of 2022 and the hot weather and the sunshine paid to all of those eggs, bar one, we believe. But 2 larvae were found. One was monitored through the winter, and we'll be having a look at that later in this video. And the second one I managed to find in L3 stage in August. Now, I took that larva home and have reared that successfully. It's gone through the winter and is now L4. And so out of 40 eggs from July and August of 2021, in this area here, only 1 was known. 2 if you included the one that I took home. So it came as good news when, just about a week or a fortnight ago, Nick and Samantha Brownlee found 2 more larvae, and they were both on the same tree and not far from where I am now. The tree had been searched many times during the winter month, as all the trees were. We incessantly kept checking for larvae, but didn't find any, just monitored one that we knew of. So to find 2 more that have survived the heat of 2022 is extremely pleasing and very significant if this butterfly is to remain successful here. Well, I've now arrived at the tree where we know 2 purple emperor larvae are on, and indeed I was here when Nick and Samantha found 1 larva on the other side, and that was just molted into 4th instar. And the next day, I think it was, or a few days later, Nick contacted me saying that they'd found a second one on the opposite side of the tree. So I thought I'll start with that one because they said it's a decent height for filming, it's at head height. So I came round to the side. I could see the one easily on the other side of the tree. It's very obvious as long as you know where it is. And then almost immediately found this one, which is on that leaf there, look. And I looked at it and I thought, well, that's L4 molting into L5, which it is. I'll take some photographs and I'll insert one here, and it'll show you how the head capsule is right over the mouth parts. But then I thought, well, I'm sure Nick told me when he'd found this one that it was L4. They were both about the same sort of age and appeared freshly malted into L4. And I thought, well, it must have eaten a lot and grown well. But while readying myself for this clip and in the process of making sure no one was waltzing up the path behind, I noticed some feeding signs on a small branch up here, just about 4 or 5 feet in from the one that I've just showed you, which is directly above camera. And then lo and behold, there is an L4 purple emperor larva. So, a pleasant surprise, we now have 3 purple emperor larvae on this one tree. I wonder if there's any more. And here's the 4th instar larva that I think Nick and Samantha Brownlee had found and put me onto. It looks the same size as the one on the other side of the tree. It's resting on its favoured leaf, just askew from the midrib. But it's surprisingly, these larvae, they don't leave a lot of feeding signs. They don't eat copious amounts of leaves, even when they're large. You can see it has been feeding here on this one, but its main feeding, as it turns around, its main feeding is done on here. So each time it feeds, it goes down this stem here and then comes along this, and this is your purple emperor feeding damage. This is what to look for if you want to look for this species. But they do wander a surprising distance before, or to and from meals, so to speak. So that is one of the 2 L4 larvae, now 3 L4 larvae, although one is in advance of these other 2. Well, I was just walking back to the car and realised that I hadn't showed you the one larva which we'd known of since the back end of 2022, and we'd monitored through the winter. This isn't the best of lighting, I'm afraid, but obviously it's on that small leaf there, and it is smaller than any of the 3 on the tree that we've looked at, and I've showed you 2 of the larvae of. It is 4th instar, but is smaller. So at least now we know of 5 purple emperor larvae in Sherwood Forest. I've just looked at the time and realised it's 25 past 3, which means I'm missing my afternoon nap, which at my age is something of a necessity. But I didn't plan on staying out here virtually 4 hours, 4.5 hours. I just planned to have a nice wander around, have a look for purple emperor larvae, check on those, and just to film them, the ones that we knew of. I didn't expect to find a 3rd one on a tree where 2 already existed. So it means now that our count so far of purple emperor larvae is 5 if you count the wild larva MP3 which I have at home. It's a situation that looks miles better than it did 2 weeks ago, when we knew of only the one on the tree at the side of me here and the one I have at home. So an improving picture. No doubt there are more purple emperor larvae knocking about in Sherwood Forest. It's just a case of us managing to find them They're just at the point now where they're starting to eat a little bit more, but with purple emperors, the feeding signs and the damage and the amount of leaves that they eat isn't that much at all, but it does increase, but never becomes as conspicuous as hawk moth larvae, for example. So we've got 4 now to monitor here that we know of, and of course I'll be keeping an eye on little MP3 from the comfort of my own backyard.